Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Tanshe, thank you for joining us today. My name is Celine. I'm a research assistant with the Indigenous Initiatives Department here at Lakehead. So part of the research that I'm assisting with is a project to learn more about the experience of Indigenous transfer students, and just to try and make sure that the experience is as seamless as possible. So one thing that kept coming up when we were speaking with students and staff was the importance of building relationships, particularly before students even get to Lakehead, and also the importance of letting incoming and prospective students know about all the supports that are available at Lakehead. So we wanted to be able to help you to be successful in reaching your specific goals if you decide to come to Lakehead. So we have folks on this call who, in a little bit, will introduce themselves and explain more about how they would be able to help or support you if you do decide to come to Lakehead. Before we do that, we have Timothy Turriff, who is a former transfer student here at Lakehead. And he's going to be sharing his experience and maybe offering some advice about the transfer process. So after we have some staff introductions, we'll then open it up for a question and answer period. So feel free to answer or write your questions in the chat or save them until the end. Just a note that while Tim's speaking, we're going to be recording. So the recording will only be of Tim, but just a heads up that the little recording notification does pop up in the corner. So you're all muted right now until after Tim is finished speaking. But once we get to the question and answer portion, you'll be able to unmute yourselves. So another housekeeping item just before I turn it over to Tim, we'll be contacting the 10 folks who won the gift packs by email, and that'll be the email that you use to register for this event. So watch out for that in the inbox shortly after the event. So, okay, Tim, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Celine. Hi, everyone. My name is Tim Turriff. Am I unmuted right now? Yeah, okay, cool. My name is Tim Turriff. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a Mohawk of Akwesasne, and I'm a transfer student to Lakehead University. So I'm actually in my fourth year. So I transferred just around 3 years ago. So I want to take you back to when I was in grade 12, because the summer before grade 12, a friend was telling me about Lakehead University and the program that I'm in now, Outdoor Recreation, Parks, and Tourism. So after that summer, I became like obsessed with the idea of, traveling to Thunder Bay, going to Lakehead, being in this program. So I went to the University Fair in Toronto and I just hovered around the Lakehead booth. I wasn't really interested in any other universities there. And Lakehead University travels to so many high schools around Ontario. And I actually wasn't there that day. I was on a soccer trip. And the representative from Lakehead actually reached out and saw that I registered for the event and set like a one-on-one meeting with actually him and my parents. So outside of his like paid hours and everything, he still met with me as a prospective student. And that's when I first felt like very valued by Lakehead University, not just as a prospective student that will pay tuition, but as a person, kind of meeting around my schedule. So that was a nice experience. That guy's name is Alex, and he's going to come up later too. So I was convinced by Alex to travel to Thunder Bay for the Winter Open House in 2016. I went there and I actually won a sweater because I posted the most on social media or something during that event. And I love that sweater. I was so proud of, the sweater in Lakehead that, I applied for the school. I used my top 2 choices to apply to Lakehead. And you know how you get 3 on OUAC, and I applied to another school for my 3rd. I got the offer and I accepted it like the day of for Lakehead. But obviously, since I'm a transfer student, there's more to the story. So I wanted to tell you how excited I was about Lakehead. Like, I got my grad pictures done with that sweater. And you know how people get their grad pics with like a soccer ball or a guitar? I got it with a box of Cheerios and my Lakehead sweater, just because, Cheerios. I don't know. I like Cheerios. So I got my offer and I accepted it to Lakehead, and I was so excited. But then I also got my offer to my 3rd choice program, which was at, I probably shouldn't say it, a different school. So after I accepted my offer to Lakehead, I became more and more hesitant about going to Lakehead because it was so far. Like it was like it's a 17-hour drive from where I am in Belleville, Ontario. And because the other school is bigger, so I thought that meant it was better, but that's not the case. And also I started to think that, outdoor rec isn't going to lead me to jobs. It's a hobby. So I became more and more hesitant, and I toured the other school, and I decided that I liked it enough to decline my Lakehead offer and go to the other school. So that ended up being the wrong decision, and I knew that in the very first week that I was at the other school. I keep almost saying it, but I don't want to say it. So I went to the other school. Yeah, in the first week, I knew that I didn't want to be there, and I contacted Lakehead University because I knew that I wanted to go back to Lakehead. After touring it and everything, I wanted to go there again. And they were so helpful during the transfer credit process. And it was really seamless. Like I thought it was going to be stressful. Like it's going to take weeks for them to get back to me. And I might have to switch courses and do them at my other school so that they'll transfer over. But I'll give you an example. I took an English course at my other school, and Lakehead originally transferred it to academic writing, but it was an essay writing course, and I had to take professional writing at Lakehead. So I sent along the course description and everything, and I said, would you be able to consider this as this credit instead of that credit? And then they were like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can do that. I'll talk to my supervisor about it. And then they got it transferred over. So I didn't have to take a similar English course again. So that was very helpful. And I'll also tell you that I started school 4 years ago and I'm going to graduate. So I didn't add on any time, even though I switched like programs and faculties. I went from social science to humanities. So it was still pretty similar. So yeah, that transfer credit process is seamless and is not stressful at all. They help you through everything. So I finished up my year at the other school. And once I got to Lakehead, like I knew it was the right decision. I felt at home and comfortable and everything like that. And really my worries about it being so far away from where I am, the drive was beautiful and it was a great experience to have with my parents. And also I could fly home in like 3 hours. So it's really, sure it's far, but it doesn't take long to get home if you have to. And also like at my other school, students would leave each weekend and go back home because like the other place was more central to a lot of cities and stuff. But at Lakehead, like you don't necessarily want to go home each weekend. Like if you're living in dorms, and you can as a transfer student, if you're living in dorms, there's going to be a lot of students with you in that same situation. Like they're far from home, and Lakehead does a great job of organizing res sports and events to make you feel at home and to make Thunder Bay a second home for you. So you don't have to worry at all about, missing home too much, because other people are in the same boat. It's like a shared experience and everyone grows off of that. So more along the side of the Indigenous aspects of this, one of the most like the best kind of subscription that I have or whatever is the email list for the Indigenous Student Services Center. It's like, it's pretty much every week, and they say like events going on the next week, and they put on so many awesome events for students. Even online, like now with the pandemic, they're still reaching out and setting things up. And they talk a lot about like scholarships and bursaries too. And I can share that like within the last 3 years being at Lakehead, through that email chain, I've applied for Inspire, and I've gotten like $6,000 or $7,000 from them. I just applied for another bursary and got another $1,000. So they really help you find money for school. And there's so many scholarships you can apply to as an Indigenous person. And then also on campus, for Lakehead, each program has to do, like there's a required Indigenous course content. So every student will do a course that relates to Indigenous knowledge or science or something like that at Lakehead, which is also super cool. And then there's also the new Indigenous Student Lounge, which I've only been in a few times. It opened up pretty close to the pandemic, I think. I think it was the same academic year, so I didn't go into it that much, and I regret not doing that. but they have like an awesome kitchen in there and a lounge and Mac computers that you can use. There's elders in residence, there's smudging in there, and there's also like craft sessions and stuff. So that's a really awesome place on campus to meet up. And like you can, like you don't have to be Indigenous to go in there too. Like you can bring your friends in there too. It's a very welcome and like comfortable environment there. And also for one of my courses, I made mucklucks at Fort William Historical Park. So that was really cool. But really, I would just say that like this is probably the best university you can go to as an Indigenous person. There are so many supports for you. You really feel at home there. And there's just so many opportunities to learn about Indigenous culture there. I'd also like to like reach out and like if anyone has questions about the transfer process or if they're hesitant about anything, you can totally reach out to me. I've been through the process and like you're definitely not alone in this process. As you can see, there's so many other students in this call. So I'm gonna send my email in the chat and you can feel free to reach out to me anytime too. But yeah, that's my story. I'm very happy that I chose to go to Lakehead like twice. I accepted my offer twice, but I've been here once. But I'm always gonna look back and like think fondly of my Lakehead days here. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim. Marcy, that was awesome. I feel like I like Lakehead even more now, and I'm an employee and a student. So thank you for sharing your experience. And I agree. I just like to reiterate like how amazing the email list is. I've also gotten scholarships from that email list. It's just like such a great resource and it comes right to your lap. So yeah, thank you for sharing.